Welcome into the locker room, the most sacred of spaces in sports. Talking you through the behind-the-scenes conversations that happen behind closed doors. With former Nebraska football tight end Chancellor Brewington.
Chancellor Brewington, the 6-year senior tight end, finding his way into the end zone.
And former South Dakota State running back and Nebraska football assistant Mikey Daniel.
Hand off to Daniel inside the 2 to the 1, and he powers his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State touchdown.
This is The Locker Room, brought to you by App Foundation Repair. Here are your hosts, Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
Welcome into the locker room here on a Tuesday afternoon. Mikey is out today, so I'll be speaking up a little bit more, but Chancellor is in here with us, and we're going to talk about some Nebraska, Illinois, all things football. But specifically, Chancellor, I wanted to start to ask you about kind of the short week that Nebraska is on, if you had been through any of these short weeks and kind of how that feels as a player. I know a lot of things get moved up a day, but obviously the anticipation you can kind of hold off on. You're just looking forward to a Friday.
Yeah, for sure. So to start off the week, I mean, Monday you move up. So Monday was your full pad day. Tuesday now is kind of this strange day. It's everything's, it's a little bit lowered reps, lowered physicality, but you got to be careful because it's a short week. So you have a shorter week of recovery, and that's the name of the game. The name of the game is recovery. Who recovers the fastest, gets their bodies back up to the able means of playing. So yeah, definitely the short week plays a part, but the leadership and the culture of Nebraska, I think those guys are dialed in. I want to take a look at Illinois and how they performed against Central Michigan just off the stats. I'll tell you what, Luke Altmaier, I think he's a decent quarterback. I think he when you look at the film, any type of man situations, he's not afraid to run and use his legs. So moving forward with Nebraska, I think when we get in man-to-man situations, definitely keeping some type of player, in spy or something. And spy just means literally just tracking the quarterback, making sure when he scrambles, you got a player in a spy. It was something interesting I saw, Bach, was that their running backs, you got a big old running back. I believe his name is McCray, or it might be Valentine. One of those boys is like, 6'2", 6'3", about 250. And so one thing with that is he's not a speedster, and I think the two backs we played against UNI are pretty good. I believe, those guys could possibly, get a shot at playing on Sundays. They're real physical guys. But this Illinois back I wouldn't say he's like that as far as like athletic wise, not very dynamic, catching the ball at the backfield, not too worried about him. The number one thing I think it is that he is, you don't let him get downhill and get a full head of steam. What I mean by that is make sure, and Central Michigan did a really good job of this. I'm sure they saw the tape, but making sure they kept him inside and cut off angles, made him plant his foot and stop his momentum. Setting edges by the defense was a big thing that Central Michigan did. And when you look at the Central Michigan game, it wasn't like the 9-30. It doesn't truly reflect that. Central Michigan had plenty of opportunities. I mean, they got down to, I believe it was like the 6-yard line and the 7-yard line, like 2 times. So if they score there, I mean, and then the 3 points that they got in the fourth, if they scored there and then they had a field goal opportunity and they missed it, I mean, if you score there, that's 21, 24. I mean, that's a ball game, it's 24-30. So that being said, Central Michigan, I'm confused on what Illinois is on defense, because it looks like they're like this 5-down team, and Rule talked about it. They're this 5-down team that will show zone, play man, show man, play zone. They love to kind of roll these safeties into cover 2, and they do it in a variety of different ways. But in 2022, when we played Illinois, they were this team that were very one-dimensional, but they were so good at what they did. They had 5 beasts of D linemen down, and they had, one of the Sidney Brown. They had Devin Witherspoon. They had not Trayvon Martin, Devin Martin, I believe it was, and another safety. I think all 4 DBs got picked up, went to the NFL. So they were able, what I'm trying to say is they were able to send 5 D linemen and play man behind it. And, they would mix in some zone, but very rarely. That was the identity. And this DC doesn't like to show too much, and he likes to stay in what works for him. And so one thing I'm seeing on the film right now is they do like to play that man, but also they like to get in that cover too. I've seen some cover 3. But as far as Dylan's work this week, throughout the week, preparation wise, it's going to be key for him to have some indicators. What I mean, indicators, when they're in zone, when they're in man, when they're showing man, when they're hopping in zone, simple indicators could be the depth of the safety, literally just like that. An indicator could be, I saw on film, there's times when they're rolling to cover 2 and they never did it when the corner was pressed. So like little indicators like that, Dylan's going to just have to be key. And this will be a really good test because, I mean, you look at Colorado, their defense, it was man or cover 2. Like they weren't playing, these roll safeties and, these detailed coverages. It was pretty plain. UNI, a little bit more complex than Colorado, but not much. And then you get to Illinois, and it's going to be a real good chess match from DC to OC. And I'm sure Satterfield has something schemed up. And I've been a little critical of Satterfield, and rightfully, I feel like it's rightfully so. You have a quarterback, and me and Michael were talking about this. You have a quarterback in which he's generational talent. If you don't think so, then I think you have to get glasses, contacts, or you don't know the game of football, right? He's generational in the throws he can make, the arm talent, and the IQ. I think it starts with the IQ, his mental capacity. And so when you look at what Nebraska's been running, the offense and stuff, it's almost, and Mikey said it, and I love it, it's almost time to take the training wheels off. He's executed. I mean, you look at the past 3 games, he's had a total of like 12 incompletions the past 3 games. So when you look at it, you're like, okay, now are we going to start, are we going to see some more shots? Are we going to see, receivers, just route concepts? Maybe it's a little trickery with motions and stuff like that. Just something where Dylan's role expands and the trust in him expands a little bit more. And I don't know, maybe we've already seen the height of this offense, meaning the play call. Like we've already seen all the shots that they're going to take. And I completely doubt that, right? But if there's a game now, I want to see now versus this Illinois game it's going to be a shootout. And not in a shootout in the sense of like score for score, but it's going to be a shootout in OC against DC, DC against OC. What I mean by OC is offensive coordinator and DC defense coordinator. Those guys going back to back. And really, who has the best game plan? I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think it's going to come down to obviously quarterback execution. I believe it's Altmaier and Raiola. I think those 2 guys are going to have competing with themselves. But if you match the numbers, I'm sure the guy who wins that quote unquote battle, their team will probably come out on top. And obviously defense. And so when you look at this Illinois offense, they have some pieces. Some pieces. And I think this will be one of the better receiving cores in the Big Ten. You got Pat Bryant, Zachariah Franklin, and I believe it's Colin Dixon. These guys are very, very explosive. The running backs not really involved in the passing game. The tight end, though, they do a lot of things with the tight end. Big body. I mean, he's like 260, right? So linebackers are going to have to be disciplined with their eyes and with their feet, not getting lost into where the motions with the tight end is coming from, and a bunch of guard pulls and pin pull, counter, all these different concepts, right? A lot of gap scheme concepts, right? So I think Buford as well is going to get tested, because I think if there is a gap in this if there's a quote unquote gap, it's going to be the DBs. Because I think Nebraska is number 13 right now at run defense. I think they're letting up like 76 yards a game or 79 yards a game. So that's already established that they're not going to let a team run the ball. The only way you're going to move the football on Nebraska's defense, I would say, is throwing the football. But you combat that with a good D line, and now the quote unquote gaps or holes on this defense, you kind of patch it up. You kind of patch it up with good QB pressure. Illinois' O-line, I thought they did a decent job. I mean, Central Michigan, I wouldn't say they're known for their pass rush or their D line. They got 3 sacks. They got 8 tackles for losses. So definitely some holes there. I expect there to be a new juice to this coming back, a bounce back from last week, because you and I had the longest drive of the week. I don't know if it was for FCS or FBS too, but it was 10 minutes and like 88 seconds. So like that was one of the longest drives. I think they completed 3 or I think it was 4 third downs. So that won't happen. I think some of that was Mackay was out, Mackay Bayer. I think he's kind of this juice plug. We see him, start the drive off, and we saw it against UTEP. We saw it against Colorado too. He had an explosion of a game against Colorado that first half. I think he kind of sets the tone, and I think Giff is also in that same category of kind of like the tone setters. But I think energy wise and just him running down on kickoff and setting the tone there, I think he's a guy that needs to get this defense going early. And getting it going doesn't mean you go and get a tackle for loss. It could simply mean he just goes and blows up the center on, A-gap blitz, right? And just gets loud and excited, or he goes run down on kickoff and gets a tackle, or, or even he does get a tackle for loss or a sack. I think that's the type of thing. I expect Gift to have a really big game though, just because they're going to do some, when they hop in that cover 2 and stuff, because I don't think they're going to play a lot of man against this Illinois offense. When they hop in this cover 2, I think they're going to try to attack the middle, and that's where Gift plays in this cover 2, is the middle of the field, being either the middle dropper in Tampa or just being the deep middle hook in just regular cover 2. So seeing that, and I think Ty and Nash, I think Nash has, I wouldn't say been quiet. I would say I think this game in particular, we're going to see James Williams back on the field. We're going to see a lot of Jamari. We're going to see a lot of Prince Will. We're going to see a lot of Cam Linhart.
Linhart.
My bad, brother. Cam. We're going to see a lot of Cam on there, and the D line is going to it's going to be a good test for them. Is the D line who we think they are? And I think they are. Is the D line who we think they are? And is the DBs gonna are they gonna come to play? And I think Tommy Hill's gonna get tested. I think he's gonna have to continue to establish himself week after week. I think guys are still gonna come at him and try him. Just watching the film, they'll hop in 12 personnel, meaning 1 running back and 2 tight ends, a real heavy set, quote unquote run personnel, and they'll throw the ball. They'll take shots. They're not scared to throw the ball. If you look at the Central Michigan game, where they were taking these shots and specifically number 13, they love to take shots to him. They were taking these shots like the first down after they get to the opposing 40. So that's that shot territory. You get to the 38, between each 38, 35, like that's shot zone. And they was taking shots. So it'll be interesting to see how they do against this Nebraska defense. But I think what we're seeing with Tony White is it's almost like you can't look at the Colorado game and say, okay, if I'm Illinois' offense, I'm going to look at Colorado game and see what they did, and then I'm going to look at UNI. It's 2 very, very different, same defense, 3-3-5, of course. hop in the off front, all that good stuff. But it's very different in approaches and game plans. It's different game plans for each game. And even if you go to the UTEP game was very different than the Colorado game for defensive game plan. The Colorado was different than UNI. So if you're Illinois, it's kind of like a headache going against this Nebraska defense because they throw so many different looks at you. So many different looks. You know, you get Jamari had a sack and Ty had a sack on the same pressure, quote unquote. It wasn't really a pressure up front where, you know, you had 3 down linemen and John Bullock is over the guard and he's bluffing the guard and creating all one-on-ones with the O-line and D-line, right? And then I'm waiting for it, you know, against UNI, and UNI is a whole different team, right? And they scheme up a whole different defense to combat that. So I would like to say that they're going to look back on last year, of course. They're going to look back on last year and say, okay, what did we do good against Illinois? Does Illinois still have the same identity of offense? Are there things that Illinois does better this year, or things that they do worse this year? Or are there things that, you know, worked against Illinois last year that we still have in our defensive game plan that we've already used this year? Maybe they use the concept, you know, against UTEP, and coaches do this. Coaches will do, use concepts, you know, against UTEP that they're going to use against Illinois to get the guys ready. But yeah, that's kind of my first thoughts on this matchup coming up.
Wow, excellent breakdown there. Film study there a little bit with you here in the locker room with Chancellor Brewington. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Have you been told by your physician that your testosterone level is fine, but you don't feel fine? Get a second opinion. If your testosterone level is 200, 350, even 500, and you still have symptoms, come to Limitless Male. We treat the person and the symptoms, not the number. Our mission is for you to feel optimal again. So if you're tired all the time, no energy, brain fog, muscle loss, nothing left in the tank, get your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 in instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Currently, above-ground pool inventories are nearly depleted. Get a complete premium above-ground pool for only $29.99. Build your own pool. Be swimming in under 48 hours. Beautify your backyard with all new patio furniture at the lowest prices ever. In-grounds from $24,999. Stone semi-in-ground from $69.99. Install. Swim spas, bullfrog spas, chemicals, all in stock. Hurry in today. These sales are going fast. Supreme Spa and Pool.com.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
IT issues wreaking havoc on your day? It's time to hire the experts. It's time to hire Hamilton. When it comes to your business, you don't have time to worry about network security, data backup, and protection, or support when devices slow down or stop working. At Hamilton, we ensure that your technology is up to speed and works as hard as you do. Don't let IT issues slow you down. You deserve better. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. Serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainert with this week's 93.7 The Ticket High School Athlete of the Week, presented by 3 Pillars Performance. Congrats to Wahoo's Kip Brigham, who had 14 carries, 362 rushing yards, and 8 total touchdowns in Wahoo's win over Aurora. High School Athlete of the Week is powered by 3 Pillars Performance. Unlock your peak performance with expert instruction at 3 Pillars Performance in Lincoln and online at 3pillarsperformance.com.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the locker room here with Mikey Daniel and Chancellor Brewington. Chancellor in studio with us today. Mikey will be back tomorrow. Really quick, did want to get to one of the comments here. Jim Philippi, leaving a few of them here on YouTube, but one of his thoughts here says, with Dylan's ability to properly place the ball, it opens up things for you. We wouldn't want to do that with just any quarterback. Any single coverage is a viable throw with Dylan as your quarterback. What are your thoughts there? Not just that, but just what Dylan, his accuracy downfield, that sort of thing. What is that opening up for the Nebraska playbook?
Yeah, it opens up a bunch. I think in particular, it opens up what the OC can call. Just the freedom in play call. I think that's the number one thing. You can run, and I think one thing that is slept on with Dylan, and you would probably have to know a little bit of football to understand this, is his footwork. He has elite footwork, and one thing about quarterback, if your feet are bad, the ball's going to come out crazy, and things like that. But he's able to get his feet around to all these different throws, even the throw to the one where I think it was to Jalen Lloyd for like 50 yards. But where he was rolling out right and he was able to get his hips back to the left and throw across his body. Just like things like that. You can't teach that. That goes to his training outside of Nebraska, specifically. His foundation. So shout out to Jim Philippi for commenting in. I gotta use some of your plays, man. But I want to talk about top 25 rankings for week 4. Week 4 is interesting. This is kind of where the fire gets put on. You got a bunch of tough matchups, quote unquote. Obviously you got Nebraska 22, Illinois 24. They're matching up. Somebody's going to be bumped out to 25 right there. You got Texas versus ULM. That's not one of them. Tennessee versus Oklahoma. Tennessee's number 6. Oklahoma's number 15. So one of these guys are going to get bumped up. And I'm specifically talking about this for where Nebraska's going to end up after we beat Illinois. I'm already speaking it, and I already see it. USC at Michigan. I believe that USC is probably going to roll over Michigan, and Michigan will no longer be in the top 25. Utah versus Oklahoma State. I don't know. Utah had a dogfight against Utah State, and Oklahoma State, I believe, had a real tight one the other week with Arkansas. So it'll be interesting to see there. I'm assuming, if one loses, they'll probably be, around the 18 to 20 mark. Kansas State beat BYU. BYU, hey, do not sleep on BYU ever. My boy Darius Laster, number 5, their best receiver. I hope he has a big game. I'm sure that will be 10:30 p.m. Okay, so that's gonna be a primetime game at BYU. BYU has a phenomenal atmosphere. LSU versus UCLA. Yeah, UCLA. I think they're trash this year, and that's all respect. And the moment I knew UCLA was not going to be good is at media days when their head coach went up there and said a 30-second thing. I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "What'd he say?" And this is no disrespect, but he got up there and said, "UCLA, yeah, we're the team from LA across the way from USC. Yeah, I'll take questions." That was pretty much it. So yeah, I just didn't see confidence, and I didn't see, a settled in program. I think I'm really high on Louisville this year. I think it's going to be Louisville, Syracuse. Mikey is really big on Syracuse every week. I mean, he's picking Syracuse for everything. I'm sure Syracuse after this week will probably enter into the top 25. They've been playing really consistent football. But I think it's in the ACC. I think it's Clemson. And Clemson's playing NC State, and you never know. You really never know. Clemson kind of has some rocky stuff. I believe they played App State a couple weeks ago, and So, and then you got Iowa State playing Arkansas State. You never know there. You got Northern Illinois playing Buffalo, and Northern Illinois is that interesting one. Notre Dame goes and beats Texas A&M, a ranked opponent. Texas A&M is 25 right now. At the time, I believe they're like 15 or 16. They go and beat them, and then they go play Northern Illinois, get beat by them, and then they go play Purdue and blow them out by, I believe, like 50, right? So I I believe that's probably why Northern Illinois is still in there, is because Notre Dame had a good game and got in there and killed Purdue. And then you got Texas A&M playing Bowling Green. So, all things said, if Nebraska goes, win Nebraska. Yeah, this is how we got to speak, baby. When Nebraska goes and beats Illinois, I think it's going to be a thing where we crack into the teens. I think we crack into the teens. I think we crack into, the 18, the 17, that margin. Just because, you got Tennessee, Oklahoma playing their ranked opponent. I believe Michigan's going to be out of the that 18 spot. That's going to be out. I believe Oklahoma State is probably going to lose to Utah. That's going to leave a gap. They're going to go up. And then obviously Northern Illinois, I don't think they're going to be in there coming up this week. Just the power rankings and how those things work. If you look at the point system that they use, Northern Illinois is 23, Nebraska is 22, but the point difference is what gets it. Northern Illinois is 151 and Nebraska is 266, right? So, we go and beat Illinois, who's already, 137 at 24, and let's say Clemson loses or something like that, we'll definitely be ahead. It'll be interesting to see, how far ahead, because, you got your 16 through 18 is all 2-1 teams. You got LSU's 2-1, Notre Dame's 2-1, Michigan's 2-1, and I mean, moving forward, there's going to be a bunch of undefeated. It should be all undefeated teams. It's all pre-ranking stuff that they already had, a top 25 team going into it. But I want to circle back to the Illinois-Nebraska matchup, and I'm going to predict. I'm not going to predict, but I'm going to give my takeaway on I think who's going to have a big game. This is probably way too early, but it's a Wednesday, and I want to give the take here, and then tomorrow me and Mikey can talk about it on who he thinks. One thing about this defense, one person who's a ball hawk, who the ball just gravitates. It's just like a magnetic pull towards him. It wasn't so much last year, but the year before is Malcolm Hartzog. I mean, he's sitting in a cover 2 on this rollout. Not really. I mean, he's supposed to be there, but he's in cover 2 rollout. I mean, he just throws a high ball, gets a pick. I think he's going to have a big game coming up. I think he's going to have a big game. I think Giff is probably my player of the game on defense on Friday. Giff is my player of the game. Why? I think they're going to use him in some interesting packages. I don't think they're going to be playing a lot of man, and I think they're going to put Giff in a lot of like lurking situations. And if they do play man, I think they're going to have Giff kind of be this rat player. What I mean by rat is like any type of crosser or anything. I think Giff is going to probably take those away, and probably be a spy on a lot of things too. Or Princewell. And Princewell, I'm really high on Princewell. I think Princewell's a guy, and me and Mike were talking about it. I think Princewell's a guy where, we look at this time next year, Princewell is I mean, they're probably talking about Princewell as being the best defensive player on this team. I think his ceiling is, I don't think people understand what his ceiling is, because I mean, he's a 6'5", like 250 guy who runs like a deer. He runs like a deer. I've seen him. He's really comfortable in pass coverage. You can put him in a spy. You can send him off the edge. He's decent against run. I think that will be the next step of his game is being able to play the run, and possibly him coming into, like some situations where he plays that position that Jamari plays. Because I think like at the next level, who reminds me of him? Oh, I got to get his name. It's he plays for the Redskins now. He played for the Panthers last year. I trained with him in the off season in Arizona. He's a Polynesian guy. He played at Washington State. He's like their outside linebacker. I believe he's like number 5 for the Redskins. But I think he had like 12 or 13 sacks last year with the Panthers. He was an all-pro guy. But one thing that makes him so special is that he can play in that kind of like 3-4 system. And I think P. Will can find it. I think the jack position is good for P. Will. But I think moving on to the next level, him in a 3-4 defense is just, a match made in heaven. Did you get his name?
Was it Frankie Louvu?
Yep, it was Frankie. Yeah. He's a phenomenal person, by the way, a very humble guy, but he's that type of same skill set. I believe P. Will has that. So those are my two key players for the game coming up. I got Gifford on the back end, and I got P. Will, because I think they're going to get in a lot of pass situations.
Well, there you have it, an early look into this week of college football, and specifically Nebraska and Illinois. We'll be back to round up the show and talk more Nebraska football coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. At Foundation Repair, we fix basements.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 in instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry, this deal ends soon. See Home Club for details.
Stevens & Smith Construction is a full-service, employee-owned concrete company that specializes in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. They've been a leader in the concrete industry since 1971, with nearly 250 employees combining for more than 2,000 years of service. With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City, they're united in quality, integrity, and professionalism to create excellence in construction. Learn more today at stevensandsmith.com.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Danielle. Brought to you by F Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's been a great day here in the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket as we've been breaking down Illini tape and then looking into a little bit of what this college football weekend has in store and previewing that game in particular. What do we got ready for the third segment of the locker room, Chancellor?
Yeah, so we're gonna y'all in the chat are hilarious. An undercover dog. Anyways, shout out at Foundation Repair for being our sponsor. I'm sure that's where Mikey Daniels is right now. One thing I wanna ask a question for the viewers out there, and of course we can answer it, and that's obviously we're gonna answer it. But I think the question is, where does Nebraska need to take the jump? I think going into UNI, for me, it was I need to see a jump at the receiver position. That's where mine was, and I'm still kind of now. I've kind of retrained. I've kind of restructured that thought and that vision is kind of now. I want to see the identity of the offense be established in this first Big Ten game. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. It's just frustrating for me. The frustrating part of watching the game, and me and Mike were talking about this off air, was like, we saw like, oh, that was a good win. But like, it was almost like it wasn't a good win. Like it was a good win, but there's so many like things that could have been better. And I think that might be the perfectionist in me or, stuff like that. Right. But as far as like offensive wise, I think Dante Dowdale is like, 1,000-yard back. I think we've shown that, right? Why did he only get 6 carries, right? Okay, he didn't play the fourth quarter, but you had at least 3 or 4 drives with him, right? And I think that's kind of a thing where, okay, when we get into Big Ten play, if we want to close these games out, we can't just feed Dante at the end and expect him to get going, 6-minute drive, milk the clock, right? We have to get him going first drive of the game, second drive of the game, third drive of the game, fourth drive of the game. So moving forward, I want to see an identity with this offense. We're going to pound the rock. We're going to let Dylan throw, 30 times. We're going to make sure one back gets hot. Dylan's going to throw and yada, 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 right? I don't care what it is. Let's say it's Dylan throws for 40 times a game. Cool. Okay. And we're going to finish the game with running the football like Coach Rule likes to do and be really plain and simple and not get into trying to hike up the score, because he said real good teams play really boring at the end of games. I totally agree with that. I don't want to see any type of shenanigans at the end of the game. I want to see milk the clock, take all the chances and possibilities of winning this game for the other team away by milking the clock, hiking the ball around 5 to 6 seconds. I would love to see that, right? And do that for every win, from SC to Ohio State to Iowa, finishing the year off and then going to, Big Ten championship game and going to their college football playoffs. I would love to see that. But up until that point, who are we going to be? Up until the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left or milking the ball, who are we going to be? And I think that's a conversation in-house that needs to be had, because there's a lot of you get down there 3 times against UNI and you kick or 2 times and you kick field goals. You do that against Big Ten opponents, you're not going to win, right? And you could be like, man, bro, why are you being harsh? You gotta be, because that type of perfectionist attitude or perfectionist mindset moving into Big Ten plays, what you kind of have to have, and not everything's going to be perfect. Dylan's still a freshman. There might be some mistakes. I haven't seen one yet. I still haven't seen a true, real mistake. I mean, I saw the fade to Banks. That was 6 inches higher, 3 inches higher. That's a touchdown. But as far as mistakes, I don't see it. So maybe it's Satterfield who needs to take the jump. It's not the receivers. I think it might be Satterfield who needs to take the jump this week. And it's not like, and it's just, I'm not trying to say like, oh, it's his fault. I'm not trying to say that. I think it's his identity with Dylan Rowler's identity with the, running scheme's identity, having those have some, harmony or congruency moving forward, I think that's where the magic is having who Dylan is as a player and having Satterfield as a play caller. Those come together and, then be really one, and not in a weird way, but really be one and think on one accord and do all these different things. Because I think moving forward, if those two are out of sync, Dylan really wants this and, Satterfield wants this, and they're two pulling forces, I don't think this offense is going to be productive at all, right? At all, especially in Big Ten play. Because guess what? Everything is in heightened. Everything happens faster. The windows are smaller. The margin for error is so much smaller. So it's going to be interesting. I predict that this is the week that everything starts clicking. I mean, why not? I mean, you got a decent D line coming in. This is kind of the game where you show the nation, because it is a Friday game. Everyone in the nation is going to be watching. It's an opportunity to say, this is who we are. This isn't a fluke. We're not 3-0. We're not top 20, top 25 because of fluke. This is who we are. We're going to let you show it. We're going to let you see it by, efficiency and execution on the offensive side, because I believe the defense is going to do what they're going to do. This will be a good test for them. But this team, I don't see them run the football in Nebraska. They might hit a couple deep balls on Nebraska, right? But I couldn't see them throwing for, 350 yards, right? I think that's the only way they win, if they throw for, 350 yards. Because I don't see this running back being I don't see this running back being a dynamic, explosive back that can gash us for, 100 and some yards. I don't think he's that type of back. So yeah, those are my thoughts, going into Illinois. I believe it's going to be a dogfight. Coach Rule talked about it. A dogfight. Well, we some dogs, so let's do it. You know what I'm saying? We some dogs, let's do it. I know them boys ain't worried about nothing. But Friday night games are different. It's like playing on Monday or Thursday for the NFL. Everyone's going to be watching this game. Everyone's going to be watching. Who we play next week? Purdue. Purdue is going to be watching this game. The coach is going to say, hey, we need to watch Nebraska play, and whoever playing Illinois next week is going to watch this game. Right. So this is the all eyes on me game. Dylan mess around and throw for 300. Watch what happened. Everyone and people are already doing I'm going to spend my last, how much time we got?
A few minutes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to spend the last 2 minutes on this. Yeah, we are some dogs, Jim Philippi. I'm going to spend the last 2 minutes talking about this Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes comparison, because it's bugging me. It's really bugging me. And I'm going to let you know why. It's bugging me because what are you? And I get people are doing it for the clicks, right? People doing it because of likes and retweets. But what are you mad at? Or what's frustrating you about the situation? Because he has the same haircut? Because he does the same routine? I'll tell you this. There's a book I read. It was about some investor, right? Some investor. He's some Indian investor. He wanted to be, have $1 billion or $100 million portfolio, $1 billion portfolio like Warren Buffett. So guess what he did? He read all of Warren Buffett's biographies, listened to all interviews by all cassette tapes, CD tapes, all of it, right? And guess what he did? He copied him. And the number one rule in his book that he wrote was, you have to copy greatness. Why would you try and reinvent the wheel? The wheel's already invented. Just put your own spin on it. This is what Dylan is doing. I mean, I don't see when I saw that, I know exactly what he's doing. He's copying greatness. So anyone who's frustrated with it either has never tried to chase greatness, and that might be a truth pill to swallow for most people. They never chase greatness, and they don't understand greatness. That's the only way I can put it. Because how can that frustrate you? I mean, you see these dudes walk. They walk the same. That's how you know he watched so much tape of him. Oh, it's past like it being on the conscious side. Now he's beating Patrick Mahomes into his subconscious, and now he's doing mannerisms, and they move the same way too. I mean, they have the same type of body types and stuff like that. So I just had to go on a quick little rant right there. I really believe that if you have a problem with that, I don't think you're chasing greatness. That's my last little piece right there. That's my last little piece.
Great show.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
Absolutely. I think the number 15 probably doesn't, that might also not help him in those arguments. But it is what it is. Like you said, chasing greatness. That's what we're doing on this show as well. And it's in its third week. It's been a great show so far here at the Locker Room. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday. But stay tuned for On the Block coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete